so I'm Stephane. I'm like a general manager for Europe and the Middle East for Kachava. The topic of my talk is really to understand how you can take advantage of your data. I mean, you guys spend a lot of time developing the best game, the best app, whatever platform you're in, mobile, VR, whatever. I mean, you spend a lot of money and sweat to put it out there. But after developing your games, your app, you want to make sure that you put it in front of the right audience, and then you are serving them right. So really, you're collecting a lot of data, but with the right set of tools. And I'm just going to take like the marketing perspective, but it applies to everything. Data can really be a huge asset for you guys, and I want you to understand. And if there is one thing you should take out of this talk is really get the data, make it a right use with the right tools, and it can be like a real asset for you. It's not only your game, it's really, or your app, it's really like the data you're collecting can be a real asset for anything you're going to do later. So without big data analytics, companies are blind or deaf, wandering onto the web like deer on the freeway, and it's really the truth. I mean, the data now, it's a common commodities. I mean, everybody's talking about data, everybody like collecting data, but do you really understand data and how to use it? It's a different perspective. So I don't know how familiar you guys are. I don't even know if you're like more on the technical side, more the marketing side, but I'm just gonna bring you a little bit of insight. I'm not gonna go too deep, but if you want me to get deeper, just please ask questions. We can do a quick Q&A after, but we can make it also very interactive. So anytime you need to get a little bit like deeper, just let me know. So I'm going to start like real quick I'll tell you who we are. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I'm here. So if you want to ask a question about us, me, just come over. But basically, Kachava is the leading mobile measurement and attribution platform out there. And we're helping like major brand to visualize and activate against their marketing data. So really taking the data, the marketing data to take the right decision at the right moment. So really, in the reality, who we are we have a presence globally. We have about 6 billion devices identified in our user base, so it's quite a lot, actually. We have a global distribution with we cover about more than 246 countries and territories. We have the largest publisher and network pool, meaning like we can give you access to a lot of publishers to really get your game out there. The monthly data point track and retain is over 100 billion transaction, which is quite a lot too. And then we also have the fastest response time, which is 75 milliseconds. I don't know if it doesn't ring a bell to you, but it's pretty fast. Now, what your data can do for you, that's really what's really matters here. It's it can help you to combat ad fraud, and meaning ad fraud is, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into it, but for you guys, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time. Better and the smarter campaign optimization. It increases your user engagement and your lifetime value, and I rebound a little bit of what my presenter before was saying, but really lifetime value, it's a great KPIs for you. And also it helps you to have a better targeting. So really getting your game or your app to the right people. Now, fraud is a big topic, actually. You guys are spending a lot of money to buy ads, but are you sure your ad is served the right way? And if we look at the 10 highest volume networks generate about 84% of all fraudulent clicks. That's a lot. I mean, like, look at those numbers. Like 27% of those top networks installs are fraudulent. So 1/3 of your money is actually out. And over like 50% of the clicks flagged are also fraudulent. So yeah, I mean, like those are big numbers. Like 70% of fraud includes a legitimate install being hijacked with back traffic, and this has a huge impact on like your user acquisition and the money ad spend. Hopefully, there are ways to work around it, and we are working with Unity to actually help you prevent that. But it's not only like really prevent that; it's really protect yourself toward like fraud and customize the response. So we have developing a full solution to detect fraud and solving this issue for you guys. I mean, if you want to like discuss a little bit more about it, we can. But really, this is really important because you're paying for install or you're paying for it to get users, and then it gets like you don't even know what you're paying for, basically. And also, if we go on a campaign optimization, I mean, not all measurements are created equal. That means like you get most of it with like, we need to get all those 4 or 5 points to optimize your campaign using a configurable attribution system with a robust data signaling to your media partner. The performance insight as well is very important, but you can also understand the trend. And understanding the trend can also help you to project in the future. So you can use data and to analyze the past, but also you can use data to project in the future, so serving your gamer better as well. And in terms of multi-touch influencer analysis, this is really important because it offers you a way to see how your game or how your app is perceived out there. So it's not only attribute to which is the best network to buy your advertising from, but also understand the whole global scope. And maybe, and I'm getting deeper into it later, but like maybe you you would attribute an install, a click, or whatever to one network, but maybe other sources of traffic help them to take the decision. So you might not have like to cut them as well. And so if we look at the configurable attribution, you have like different ways to you have, I would say, different levels to look at it. I mean, you can look at on the click level, which is actually a fact, and then you have the impression level, which is actually how you serve the ads. So, I mean, when you look at advertising, first you serve ads, and then you have a click, and then you have those events, right? So what we want to do here is to understand where you attribute like the install and to who you attribute the install. So meaning like you would like put your money to the right network. So really getting your money to the best network to get your users. And running campaign with a real understanding. If we look at like the configurable attribution, the applied data learning to optimize reconciliation settings, I don't know if that speaks to you. It's a little bit technical, but really you need to refine the attribution to align it with your campaign goals. Meaning like once you have your own KPIs and once you know what you guys want, I mean you got to run your campaign toward it. And tighten the look-back window to conform to the train norms, meaning like when we're talking about look-back window, it's really pushing before. So really like 30 days, 15 days before the click and before the event, so you understand like the whole journey. And also balance the scale between the paid and organic channels. This is also very important because you are paying to get users, but I mean, organic is also a good way for you to get users. So how do you know which works better? This is something you also need to understand. And then prioritize the config view impressions. That's also another point that is really important for you to run your campaign. if we go the data signaling, that means like you have different source of like data, so we analyze data wherever they're coming from. So not only like on mobile, but also you can have like, it could be like from cars, from your console, from laptop. So really, real data signaling really helps you to to understand your the key components, which is like actually the KPIs as well. So as a publisher, I mean, I've been a publisher before, so I've learned the hard way. I launched the game, I was publishing the game, and I was trying to understand my users. But once I had them, then I had to understand how I would arrive to them. So I don't know, how many of you are like game publisher or game developer here? All right, and like other apps? All right, so if you look at games or non-games, you have different KPIs. You have different point in your game or in your app that would trigger also different events. So that's something you need to understand as well. And so looking back to installs, we have developed machine learning analysis based on your impression performance. So that would really give you a tool but a reporting system that is really based on science and not only on like, I would say, you cannot improvise what you should do. You really need to get those information into a system that would help you analyze it and getting the right report. And once you have those reports, you can really decide what to do with it. As I mentioned before, the trend discovery is also a good insight for you because it gives you marketing trends toward your brand. So it is more like it's not like only regarding your game or your app. It's a global way of saying the trend and see if you guys are set within this trend. The multi-touch influencer analysis, that's what I was talking about before. It helps you to get your media mix together, meaning creating this whole ecosystem and understanding where to put your ads, and not only like in a way that it's only where you buy your ads, but also seeing which network or which placement will also have a big influence in terms of, return for you. So it helps you to set aside the uniqueness by partner, but also when I'm saying partner is like where you're buying your ads and saying which influence it has on your performance. And then really creating those cross-channel analysis as well. So not only setting in one channel, but also multiply the usage and multiply the touch with your users. And ultimately, it will help you to get rid of all the unnecessary spending. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. I mean, if you have questions also, just hop on it. User engagement and LTV. I think Unity, the speaker before went into it, but really it's a key KPIs for you guys. Leveraging the analytics data to create dynamic audience for engagement campaign. It's help you to put the right message at the right moment, and we have developed also tools to run it. So really sequencing the way that you're communicating with your users, help you to not only acquire more users, but also keep them more engaged, and then help them to and help you to maximize the return on investment and collecting more revenue from your users. And we really encourage you to do A/B testing and then using multiple ways of really trying. The more you try, the better understanding you would have, and then the more results you would have. And through those tools, you would also crunch those like information to actually give you like the right report and the right way to use it. And then also, it's a call to action. So once you have those, then you know about what needs to be done. So you can also time the way that you send push messages or SMS, or the way how many times you want to discuss with want to interact with your users. All those based on data. I mean, we all know the engagement journey, but it's a cool reminder. I mean, you start with like views and clicks, then you have user installs, then user completes level 1 in case of a game, and then ultimately they will add tokens to the cart. They buy tokens, but then they don't do it. Why? That's something you need to understand. And then we are here to help you understand why they do it. So what you do is you create a dynamic audience for abandoned carts via the analytics. You analyze it, and then you can also take decision on pushing a message, trigger a message, like what kind of message, when you want to send it, and how you want to send it. And then you ultimately help them to re-engage with them, and then with a deep link to the cart, help them to re-engage and purchase again, or actually spend the money. Precision targeting. This is also something really that is key to success. Understanding your audience. So if you run like the insight reports against your whale users, you would have like a better understanding who they are. And once you know who they are, you can create cohorts of users, and then and create a lookalike. And then with your activation partners, you can push your ads toward them. So it's syndicating all the media partners all together, build your audience, create the core of audience, and then really set it up, and then sending the right message. Make your data work for you. You are spending a lot of money collecting data, and put it in database, and then using business intelligence and doing AI. But you can get your data to work for you and to work towards success. So really measure your data, optimize the insight from that data, meaning use your data, build a plan on top of it from what you learned from the data. It's a call to action at the right time, and more effectively target with your data. Again, really getting the precise moment and the precise action towards your data, and I'll always activate and lastly activate upon that data. That means pull the trigger upon that data. So right now, Kochava is actually, we are available. It's pretty recent on the asset store, so we make it your life easier. I'm not going to get into a demo or whatever. It could be like a little bit more technical. We actually have a team here in the region. So if you need to get more information about what we could do together, how we can help you out, we have different set of services, and we always have something that could fit your budget and your needs.